Touch.
People always talk about my come up, cause I've been going all every summer. Wanna talk about numbers, but your manager buying swipe show, so bummy ain't nobody out now that can touch us.
What's up, y'all? It's Screw the Rules here, and I'm here to showcase you my first place Ruby Sapphire item removal deck profile today that I was able to take to Pastimes Jafar Set Champs and secure the Jafar Promo Enchanted, as well as the Jafar Championship playmat, which is what I really wanted. This was the last week of Jafar Set Champs, sadly, which also meant that it was my last hurrah with Ruby Sapphire as it is right now before rotation comes in and Fabled comes in, and rotation basically nukes my deck. And we're praying with that rotation that Ruby Sapphire gets some sort of board wipe, or that red gets some sort of board wipe, because we're just gonna let aggro going unchecked is actually pretty crazy. The tournament itself was a pretty small turnout. There was only 3 rounds in total because there wasn't that many people that showed up to the event, but nevertheless it was 3 rounds, a single elimination, best of 3. My first round being a Ruby Sapphire mirror match. However, it was the DKB build, and I was able to just outrace him because I was able to just draw more cards with my Maurice Workshop and Popsicles. The second round was against Turner Dogs, and that was a pretty intense matchup just because they just outraced me, but I was able to just catch up with them with ramp, board wipe, and could take control of the match right there after it just gets to late game. As soon as they get me to like 8-9 ink and I control the board and they're at like 14-15, I hit them with a Pirate's Life, able to just control that match when it comes to aggro. Third and final match, that was against my homie Joey, who ran Blurple. Great match. It came really close, but I was able to squeak in that win with Ruby Sapphire, and I was just able to draw more of my cards and see more of my removal to make sure that when he went wide, I was able to take care of all his characters. Well, let's take it away and get right into this deck profile. Alright guys, and starting with our 1-drops, we do run the 4 Popsicles. You draw a card, banish, as well as heal. This makes your Tamatoa loop go crazy with the 6-drop, and with Maurice Hat, just be able to draw more cards. Just feels really good. Felt really good playing this card as well, since this is probably going to be the last time that I play this card again, because rotation's around the corner, and it's my last hoorah with blue-red. And then our last 1-drops that we're playing for the items is the Vitalosphere, to give my Maui Shark that I have in this deck being able to give it rush, hit that exerted character, and grab me any action win the game. Mostly Pirate's Life is what I'm usually trying to go for, or if it's like removal, let it go, or when I'm trying to dig through my deck and I'm trying to use cards like How Far I'll Go or trying to get back a sale. The Vitalosphere always comes in clutch, especially against Emerald Amethyst, where they're trying to hit the Diablo, get the Sisu with the coil. Sisu hits the Diablo. After you coil with Vitalosphere to get rid of any other problem, and your Sisu literally just became a 2-for-1. I also use Vitalosphere to help me keep up with the aggro matchups by making Tipo hit the Donald, hit the Piglet, any one of those, even the Shmi when it comes to it. Just making sure that Tipo is doing something and making sure when we're trading our cards, it's always a 2-for-1 trade. Right, and for the 2-drops, we're going to show off our ramp power over here. So we do have the 4 Tipo as well as the 4 Sail. This is basically our ramp. We are trying to ramp up in blue-red, and I'm basically just trying to do more things than my opponent. Sail, I'm usually trying to do this when it comes to hyper aggro or when it comes to Amethyst, because again, I'm trying to keep up with their draw power, as well as with hyper aggro, I'm just trying to ramp as much as I can. This Tipo, usually I'll keep it when I'm versing a aggro deck, especially Emerald, so I can take out the Morpho. Typically, when your hand's like all inkables, you're probably going to want to play Sail, because eventually you end up drawing that God hand when it comes to, you know, inking a Sail, play 2, use that other ink to play the Popsicle, draw another card. You drew 2 off that turn. That's really great. Tipo usually join to do when your hand's like full of uninkables and you just need to ramp up and just get rid of those bricks as much as possible. Very important for turn 2. Red, you need it. If you miss it, it kind of feels bad. By always, you can always get it back the next turn, but again, if you don't see it, it's kind of a GG. You scoop it up and you just go to the next game. And we're definitely keeping these when rotation comes about. The other 2-drops that we play in the deck is 3 Sapphire Coil. This card is extremely clutch. Makes all-around removal targets just be able to get more things because I'm able to just minus, and this deck has no problem with inking, as well as How Far I'll Go singing it. Also, we have Great Stone Dragon. He's just able to keep exerting himself and keep putting a character into my ink while we're making Coil alive. Just make sure that Sisu, Big Sisu, Brawl, Medusa just hits anything and everything, as well as making sure that your Tipo lives or any of those big guy lives, because you're not taking any damage. Again, you're making every interaction being a 2-for-1. The other 2-drops that we play is 2 Vision of the Future to just dig. I really just want to dig as much as I can, but I really want to prioritize the ramp cards for my turn 2, as well as Coil, because again, when I verse Amethyst or Steel, they're just so big that Coil really is that equalizer when it comes to just removing them from the game. The other ramp and removal that I have for this deck is 2 hideaways. And the reason that I picked 2 hideaways instead of like 1 hideaway and 1 Cusco is because of another turn 2 ramp. just in case you don't see the Tipo or the Azurite Sea. Maybe you get the Popsicle for turn 1, you bricked, you drew Hideaway, cool, we ink, play Hideaway on our Popsicle, and we're still on curve with our ramp to make sure that we're playing 4 drops on turn 3. Hideaway also just great for that mirror match when it comes to taking away their dime, when it comes to taking away their Maurice Workshop, as well as if you're versing the DKP build, dealing with those Scrooge McDucks really earlier in the game, not waiting for that Cusco where you're trying to ramp up. Again, you're respecting locations and items, as well as being another option to turn 2 ramp when you hide away one of your Popsicles so that you can keep going. And now to our 3 drops, we play 3 of the little Sisu. Again, I love removal, and she's really good against the aggro decks. Daisy's always a 1. There's a lot of weak things that are just 1 attack. Sisu takes care of it. Sisu becomes a body, and you just threaten them because if they keep this alive because it has evasive, they're not able to deal with it. On turn 6, they already assume that you're going to shift again. Most of the time, you're shifting to the big Sisu to wipe them and to either sing Be Prepared off that rip, because usually I'll do that to wipe and then keep playing with the rest of my ink, or I will just use that to quest for 3 as well as dig into the location. But otherwise, this thing is living, doing its job, questing, as well as threatening your opponent when it's like, oh man, if they get to 6, they shift, and it's kind of GG right there. Other 3 removal that we have for the 3 drops is 3 Brawl. Again, this deals with like the genies, the piglets, any problem card that you really think for like when it comes to like aggro, or again when it comes to like a big lore card as well as draw power, just like the genie, you're able to deal with it, as well as those pesky Diablos, you're just able to deal with it, and it's inkable. I'm only doing 3/3 just because again in my specific deck that I run for Ruby Sapphire, there's a lot of removal that I have in my deck because I really believe that I just want to be able to have more resources and more outs than your deck. And the other 3 drops that we have is 2 Maurice Workshop, heart and soul of the deck right now, just because with this and Popsicle you're able to draw 2. You have an absurd amount of ink, you're always able to drop it. Usually your opponents are trying to get rid of this, trying to hide away, trying to Cusco, trying to pop it, because if you keep this and you keep 2 on board, or just the 1, and you get to just recycle your Popsicles with Big Tama, kind of a GG for your opponent because you're just drawing too many cards and they're just falling too far behind. This card is a must if you're playing the item version of the deck. It really is just drawing like pot of greed. It is a lot of setup, and most of the time you're mulliganing for Maurice's Workshop. If anything, you're trying to hard cast this on turn 3 or turn 4, just because if this card lives and you're able to just put down a Popsicle and outdraw your opponent, this card just serves itself and will just get you back into the game, as well as helping you dig to all of your removal and your resources. The last 3 drops that we have is the Great Storm Dragon, signed by the Great Tomas himself. Again, I love this card because again it turns your coil alive, and it makes sure that for any card that you're hitting, as well as if you're versing a Amethyst, Ruby, or Steel matchup where they're always removing your characters, this will punish them because it's always giving you ink, as well as making sure that coil is live so that Sisu and Brawl can just have more options to hit things. And again, you're getting more ramp. Your opponent will slowly see that you have way more ink and just able to play way more options, which again is why I love playing Sapphire. All right, and for our 4 drops, we are playing 4 Scrooge McDucks. I took out the Talons just because they weren't going for me, as well as Scrooge is a big 4x4 body when Talon's the 3x3. But what I love about Scrooge when playing with the item builds is that I literally get to tap 4 and special summon Scrooge for free. And because I play Yu-Gi-Oh, when I literally declare, all right, special summon Scrooge, my opponent's like, special summon, like, yeah, dude, no ink. Tap 4 of my items, special summon Scrooge, and I still have all my ink to play with. This card is so good, and I just love when I'm just using all my ink to play my items. My opponent's like, cool, your turn's over, and I'm like, nope, tap 4. Special summon Scrooge. Hopefully we like don't whiff and we grab an item. But this guy just being a big body is really hard for your opponent to deal with. The other 4 drops that goes with the Scrooge McDuck is the 3 How Far I'll Go. I'm only weighing down to 3 because it is uninkable. Usually I will hard cast or have McDuck sing How Far I'll Go. This card gives you a card and ramp and puts you ahead of the game, as well as just giving you more ink so that you can just do more stuff than your opponent. Then after our 4 drops, we have our 5 drops. I play the 3 Enchanted Mauis. I did have 4, but I cut it down to 3 because again my deck's pretty tight. We're already at a 65 card deck, and it's a huge body. There's just a lot of decks that just can't deal with it when it comes out, or you're playing Steel and they need like a bunch of characters to force strength to do something to the Maui. Otherwise, this card is really just trying to get rid of anything. And worst comes to worst, if your opponents don't have anything ready, we're always drawing the 1 Let It Go, and we're having Maui sing it. Your opponents just gets really frustrated because they're like, you're kidding me, and I'm like, no, I'm still removing something, and we're still using off Maui. Or he'll sit there, I'll have Pirate's Life, Maui, and another one of my characters. Usually with Tipo, it's pretty funny. They'll sing Pirate's Life. Usually I have a Maui Shark on board. I gain 3, they lose 2. Especially with aggro, when you make them lose 2 and you recycle Pirate's Life, it's really hard for them to come back during that matchup. Also play the one Let It Go to just deal with anything. I don't care for the attack power boost on it. I want to be able to just blanket it. I just want to be able to have 1 soda removal, as well as I do play the 1 Big Hades. Again, to just blanket and not worry about like Coil needing it. This card just takes care of my problem for me. All right, and then going to our 6 drops, we do have the 4 Big Tamatoa, the 6 drop. This card is absurdly busted when it comes to like Popsicle. So again, last hurrah with the deck right before rotation. So the one big thing with Tama, you're trying to already have a Marie's Workshop out there, or you're playing it for free when it quests, and you're just trying to loop your Popsicle, get as much draws, power as you can. When your opponent sees this dropped and you have double Popsicle on board, they just get a big headache. They just know you're drawing a bunch of cards. And if you have Marie's Workshop on top, you're drawing 2 cards on top of it now. You're basically doing Pot of Greed, as well as like whenever you quest, you just play an item for free and you have a bunch of items in the deck. The best thing with Tamatoa over here is always questing for 2 and then playing your dime that you have in your hand for free, using dime right away to gain, and then at that point any character that you play is going to just win you and gain lore. Your opponent's just going to be very far behind. Tamatoa is that draw power resource, as well as that big body to just get rid of cards and trade. Again, we're going to use Popsicle. We're going to just heal our stuff and recycle and just keep looping as we go. Tamatoa is such a good card. I don't know what we're going to do with next rotation, but I'm pretty sure we're going to figure it out. The next 6 drop I do play is the 3 Maui Shark. I know I'm not like running a DKP list with a bunch of actions and stuff. However, I really like it just because it is another threatening answer. When I play this card, my opponent is forced to deal with it. They know if this card lives, I'm going to keep hitting, trading, keep looping my actions, especially if it's Pirate's Life. I'm sorry, it's GG, especially if you're aggro or Amethyst and you're trying to really aggro out with the lore. Maui's gonna say, nah, it's not happening, and it's a huge threat. I dare you to have something exerted. And with Vitalisphere, it is so dangerous because, again, most of the time when my opponents play me, they just think, oh, they're not running big Maui Shark because it's not the DKP build. As soon as I play this Scout and I have a Vitalisphere on the board, they're just like big wide-eyed, like, no way, like, yeah, play the Maui, Vitalisphere, crash into you something, take something, play it, and hopefully I plus off. Another reason why I add Maui here is that I just wanted to make it another win con besides like the big dime, how we get the 20. I also just wanted to just make sure that it is another win con where I can passively gain lore, and then I'm keeping my opponent on my toes where they, again, have to deal with it. So I'd rather them deal with this and just keep my other guys living so that I can keep using their effects. And the other 6 drop that goes with Maui Shark is the 2 Pirate's Life. This card has been a lifesaver when it comes to the aggro matchups, steel matchups, and amethyst matchups when it comes to the really aggro decks. This card literally says I get to come back, and you literally cannot come back in the game. Because again, with Ruby Sapphire, how it really shines is that the longer you go with the game, the more likely Ruby Sapphire are going to be able to come in and control the game from there. I couldn't fit 3. If anything, I would play 3. So if you guys are playing 3, I would stick to it because this card is obscenely busted. The other 6 drops that I still have in the deck, we have a lot of 6 drops, is the 2 Mana Medusa and the 2 Lady Tremaine. Mana Medusa just gets rid of anything, those big bodies. Even when Coil's not on board, it just says bye-bye. Tremaine, this card has been the heart and soul besides Marie's Workshop with my deck because there's just so many ward characters out. My deck is just able to deal with everything that's exerted or anything that doesn't have ward. And then this is the last piece that I'll usually just play on my opponent. My opponent will look at me and go like, you can't deal with it, it has ward, and I'll always tell them, I'm not picking, buddy. You are picking, you're choosing, I'm not choosing, so I'm working away from ward. And I love it when it's used on the Big Rat himself, Big Ratigan, or when it's used on Cherembog when I'm versing the Amber decks, or when I verse Emerald or Sapphire, and they are like with Alice, and they have those big war characters. Lady Tremaine just says, it's not a problem, and we get to quest for 2. One of the biggest things that I love to do is just shift, and my opponent never sees it coming, because they usually just think I'm running the 1. I'll shift it on top, quest for 2, and again, get rid of that other board problem. My opponent's just like, how are you removing these cards? Lady Tremaine, she is that MVP. Then for my 7 drops, we are still running 2 Be Prepared. I really hope that this card gets reprinted in set rotation after with Fabled. Otherwise, like, what are we doing for board wipes? How are we keeping aggro in check? Like, come on, Ravensburger. We got to be printing out some board wipes. But 2 Be Prepared just because I'm running the 3 big Sisu. I don't want to see it early game because I don't want it to get ripped by Ursula. I want to be able to see it through it later and dig through it, as well as just having characters that can sing it, like Big Maleficent, Big Sisu, and Hades. Again, just like with Let It Go, I just want to be able to have something that just blankets something and remove that's not based on attack or whatever. And again, dealing with the one Balus, the Mufasas, those little niche cards that don't get their effects if they're sent to your ink wall. Again, Hades is really big, and I just really like him because when I do pull him out and I'm able to have Be Prepared, he can sing it, and I get to use the rest of my ink to just build my board while I just ripped your board. And then the last 7 drop that we have is the Lucky Dime. When we see this, we kind of just win the game. When Tamatoa is able to play this for free, we win the game. Your opponent literally is deep breathing when they see Lucky Dime, because they know that at any point, as soon as you play a character, you're gaining that lore immediately. You're plussing off. You don't care if you're characterless because Lucky Dime literally did his job. As well as Lucky Dime making sure that when your big Tamatoa comes out, you do that OTK and win that turn with all your items on. Next is our 8 drops. So I do play 3 of the big Sisu. Again, my last hurrah with her because she's not reprinted for some reason. I guess Ravensburger doesn't like board wipes, but she's a board wipe in itself. With Coil, it becomes even more nasty because she's able to just get rid of the whole board instead of just partial of the board. I love shifting her on top of the little Sisu, questing for 3, or like I said, she'll sometimes will sing Be Prep, and then I'll use my ink to play other cards to just stay on top of my opponent. This card, whenever I top deck it, my opponent would just get very frustrated because their whole board would be gone. Next big 8s that we got here is the big Tamatoa himself. When it comes in combination with Lucky Dime, literally says OTK machine. Your opponent is forced to race you now because they know that if you put this, you have enough ink to Lucky Dime the Tamatoa and just win the game right then and there that turn. I really enjoy just the 3. 4 seems too cluttery, especially since I can't really play it. It is inkable, so I'll always usually ink it, but I usually just want to find just one of them during the late game with Tamatoa out to just say GG, I just won the game. Then the last big drop that we have is the 9 drop Maleficent. Again, I just wanted to add more removal in here, and again, I wanted something to just blanket anything. It does have to choose something, which is fine. Same thing with Hades and Let It Go. But with the same concept that I just want to be able to choose anything and not rely so much on Coil, not so much on like Sisu and Medusa and Brawl, where it has to be a certain attack. I just want to be able to blanket anything, get rid of it, and remove it just so that my opponent cannot quest with it, sing with it, and do anything against me where it puts me out of the driver's seat. I want to be able to keep this. Your opponent has to deal with it. Otherwise, again, it's just going to keep running amok, and it's just going to keep answering any locations that you have, any characters that you have, or if you don't really care for what your opponent has, you're questing for 2, maybe Lucky Dime's on the board, you're getting 4, and it's just like, your opponent has to deal with it. But either way, guys, if you're playing with Ruby Sapphire, I wish you guys the best of luck when it comes to just playing at your locals, giving it the last hurrah before it all gets taken out back, man. Thanks again, you guys, for watching my deck profile that got me first place at Pastimes Jafar Set Champs. Ruby Sapphire is one of my favorite decks that I love to play. I've been playing it since set 1. It's going to be really hard to say goodbye with it after rotation comes and hits. And I'm going to work with my team to figure out some sort of iteration with Ruby Sapphire, and just to see what we can build so that we can make Ruby Sapphire still a viable deck to play. Big shout outs to the Lords of Lore. They're always play testing. They're also really, really cool when it comes to recording their deck profiles. I love putting the community out there, and I love putting my team out there because, again, we want everyone to play, and we want to grow our community, and we want to just see what we can do with Disney Lorcana cards and sharing positive experiences with each other, because we all like this game. We all love missing turn 2 ramp, whiffing on Ariel, whiffing on Scrooge McDuck, and forgetting our trigger when it comes to Diablo draw. Shouts to AC, shouts to Lads Castle. He's a big part of the community. I really love what he does, and it's always a blast whenever I see him at locals. Shoutouts to Perfect Circle Games. Thayer and Leo are really trying to create a community that is just wholesome, awesome, and willing to just grow, and building a community that's awesome with each other, building each other up, as well as just bouncing off ideas, and to play a game that we all love at the end of the day. Please come through. They have Lorcana Locals every Monday at 7 p.m. please come through. You'll see me, you'll see AC, you'll see a bunch of the other Lords of Lore members too. It's a vibe. Please come through. Again, guys, if you haven't done it already, please subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, and comment down below what decks are you guys trying to cook up with, as well as what you're trying to do to save your deck when it comes to rotation and when it comes to Fabled finally setting itself down to our meta. Help me get to 2,500 subs, because when I get to 2,500 subscribers, guys, I'm gonna do a live stream and I'm just gonna be giving out away stuff, and I'm just gonna be going it from a lottery with a spinner. I'm gonna give you guys some times to just be like, all right, who's ever in here, press 1. All right, cool, you're in the raffle. Let's get it, because I do want to celebrate, because you guys have helped me so much, gain so much subscribers, gain so much viewership, and gain so much traction. You guys are blowing up the shorts feeds, you guys are blowing up the comments, you guys are blowing up the video views. I really don't know what I would do without you guys. Again, guys, thank you so much for subscribing to the channel. I really don't know what I would do without you guys, and I can't wait to see what more in store I have for you guys. So please subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, comment down below, join the family, and please help me get to 2,500 so that you guys can get an opportunity to win some of these enchantments right here, just like my girl Big Sisu, because you know after rotation she's gonna get taken outright back. All right, y'all, peace.
Come up, cause I've been going on every summer. Wanna talk about numbers, but your manager buying swipe show so bummy, ain't nobody out now that can touch us.